Hello, parents. This is Susan and Lauren, part of your Sunshine Social Work team, here recording the first of our six-series Thursday talks. Unfortunately, no one was able to tune in live for this presentation, and we thought that the content has some value and that perhaps you would be able to just sort of listen to it and get the information on your own without having to miss the opportunity or without us having to reschedule because we do have our December schedule already in place. So I'm going to start the presentation just as if you were here with us in person. Unfortunately, we won't have a Q&A afterwards, but you could always reach out to us if you have any questions or comments or wanted to talk about any of these ideas that we're presenting in person or in any more depth. So our social work team is here to support, I hope you know, your family's journey in every way that we can. We've created this virtual platform as another opportunity to connect with families, to provide you some information and resources that you think will be helpful. And our secondary agenda is really to help families see one another and engage in a platform together so that maybe some networking and connections could happen offline between parents because our parents have so much commonalities and we feel like everyone's in their own lane sometimes, and perhaps in that lane you feel a little isolated or alone. And we've seen the value of parents connecting with other parents, either through the Sunshine Network or through other opportunities, which we're going to talk about as the weeks progress, that could be an additional level of support for you. Because not everyone knows the language that you speak in regards to parenting a child with special needs, never mind a child with medical complex needs, and that child who is in a placement being cared for by a team outside of the home. So we hope families will join us for a whole or part of our 6-week workshop. We're going to hold them the third Thursday of every month. Each month, us members of our team will co-present on a new topic for discussion. It'll be partly didactic. This one will be all didactic since we're recording without a live audience, but we're hoping that there will be information presented and conversations that happen in the context of the hour we spend together. Again, you can pick the sessions that you want. Everyone received a mailer. At the end of this presentation will be the schedule again. You can join all of them, part of them. If you come late, plug in. Nobody's taking attendance. You just have to hit your Zoom link, and we'll send out reminders as best we can. And then we do intend to keep each session to 60 minutes. We want to be mindful of everyone's time. We know it was really hard for us to really pinpoint a time that would make best sense for families, knowing how busy you are with work and other in-home and out-of-home obligations. We kind of landed at this time because we thought it was sort of fair for you and your schedule and also worked within our schedule, being that we are still here for the full workday and doing this after hours. All right, so thank you for joining. Thank you for plugging into this recording. We're hoping that the topic of capturing the joy in the holidays your way has some meaning to you. So for families such as ours, raising children with medical complexity, special needs, and or with serious illness, the holidays can be a mixed bag, right? One filled with joy, comfort, and love, and others might have some mixed anxiety, a little bit of sadness, maybe feeling some isolation. Holidays can intensify emotions. They do highlight the passage of time and remind us of what might have been, what wasn't, what might never be, and makes it a little more challenging to create traditions and rituals that are meaningful from one season to the next. So we may have to be a little bit more creative in how we approach holidays when we have situations and family dynamics and family compositions such as yours. Because we think that there could be opportunities for connection and reflection and new ways of finding peace and joy through adaptation and through different ways of sharing experiences. We know that the anticipation of holidays can bring emotional weight, and this is not just for families such as yours. I think that, the holidays are a mixed bag for most people, right? Because there are outside expectations, and then there is, the realities of what our day to day is or what our present moment presents that can lead to a fulfilling holiday experience or could be disappointing. So this is why we wanted to talk about it tonight, right? So joyful messaging can feel disconnected from lived experiences. We can feel overwhelmed. We can feel isolated. But we have some ideas on how maybe to best navigate the season and these feelings and experiences, maybe a little with a little softer approach. So we know that Hallmark and Amazon and other retail stores want to sell us this concept that one size fits all, right? Ho, 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 or Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, bells and whistles and fun and frivolity. But that's not for everyone, right? We know from a personal and professional experiences that there are highs and lows that come from anticipating the holidays and then actually living in the holidays. And that nobody really should be told what to feel or what the experience is, if, emotionally for persons during the holiday and what meaning holiday makes, right? So when we talk about the passage of time or the marking of time, for our parents, we know that many holidays may have been spent in hospital rooms, right? Or in other places that were less merry and less celebratory, where the focus might not have been on, decorating or gift giving or even, community and togetherness, but it was just about focusing on, what the next diagnostic was going to bring or the next treatment was going to be. And we understand that those moments are also cap captured and collected into our psyche as well. So it's not like it happened last year, but this year it's a new year. It's those markings of time stay with us and imprint, what our experience might be like this year. So we want to take that into account, and it's not something that Hallmark always takes into account. So we don't want to reflect and sit in a negative space, right? We do want to get some ho ho ho, some jolliness into our spirits during Christmas. We want to be open and welcoming when people wish us well, and we want to be in a place where we can wish others well as too. But how do we find that cheer? That is sort of always the question that sits before us. And how do we navigate sometimes those overwhelming feelings that we feel can lead us to an all or nothing sense of being, right? It's either joyful or it's miserable, right? It's either I can do it all or I do nothing. Is there some place in between that we can find? I'm always about let's not live in the black and white, but where are the shades of gray where we might be a little more comfortable, right? So that's always sort of a goal. So we know that the emotional realities, as I said, are much more complex and layered families. And, here we can honestly explore what some of those feelings and those experiences are, right? So one is grief and loss, right? So we may have, as I said, missed some traditions or tradition making. We may have had periods of separation. Our family may have not been whole during the holiday because someone was in hospital or separate. We might not know how to incorporate the child who is at Sunshine into our traditions, and we might feel set. We might have sense of a separate sense of family in regard to that. It might be harder to go to community or other family celebrations and knowing that, one of your child is not there. It may be hard to take that family holiday photo. And there's, a significant loved one that's not captured in that picture. So we understand that, and we understand that that's the shoes that you're walking in. So first we acknowledge, right? We acknowledge what the realities are. And then we also know that there could be, certainly families, parents who do have shame and guilt for the separation, right? Should I, could I, would I have my child with me, done something different, made a different decision? All of those things may haunt you, may be a burden for you. And again, acknowledging that and maybe lightening that burden a little bit. There's the sack that Santa carries, but we all don't have to carry our own sack of the should have, would have, could have, because what's in the past is in the past, and maybe it's best to put our energies into what today brings and what those challenging decisions, the path and the journey that they've brought us to, and hopefully you're today in a better place because of those difficult decisions and those challenging circumstances that you had brought you to, right? So maybe there is a little bit of grace you can give yourself for having journeyed thus far, and what maybe you can pause in a little bit of gratitude for that during the holidays. And again, it keeps on coming up in my talk here regarding isolation, but it's easy to be avoidant and say, I'm not going to participate, I'll put the cover over my head and I don't want to be a part of. But, as parents who may have other siblings, who have spouses, who have extended family, who have an expectation that you need to show up and be present and have some deliverables. How do you get through that hump? How do you kind of push yourself a little bit more? Not certainly to and past exhaustion, but at a pace that you can manage, at a pace that feels good to you, honors your sense of self, but also acknowledges and honors your obligations to others, and not just the child here at Sunshine, but the siblings, the spouses, the grandmas, aunts and uncles, cousins, etc. Right? Um, and uh, and then the other is that you know creating the holiday um, atmosphere and traditions, the rituals. This is what we do, this is how we do it, this is how we make meaning for the family during the holidays, is the challenge, right? And we'll have some ideas, and Lauren's going to talk about how we might reframe some of that, but always keep in mind in what you may choose to try or implement this year does not have to be the same as next year. And traditions can be fun in that they do morph and change over time. So, I hear myself and my family when they want to try something different, the younger generation, let's try something different. And I'm always the one like, no, we always do it this way. And then I have to pause and say, yeah, but why can't we try it a different way? Why can't we move on and do something different because as a family unit, we've changed, right? Even in families that have, less challenge, have their own set of challenges, and it might not be the same as your challenge. We're always growing and developing and accepting that new realities bring in new perspectives, and that we maybe can be a little more flexible in allowing traditions to morph in the moment, if you will. All right. So now I'm going to hand it over to Lauren, who's going to talk a little bit about reframing the experience.
Yeah, so it's important when looking at the holiday season. It's very important to reframe the experience and how we view the situation of having a child in a care facility. So the the first way that we can do this is acknowledging that you and your family, you're choosing safety for your child. You're reframing it as a decision that you and your family have made for your child's well-being and medical needs. Out-of-home placements often provide specialized care that unfortunately cannot be replicated at home. But with that, it's really important to remember and we acknowledge and that you are still the parent in the experience. And that is the most important thing. And in the experience is just reframing it that your role as a parent does not end, it just evolves, right? So you become an even more important advocate for your child. You can still visit your child. You still are a comfort for your child. And most importantly, you can still continue to grow your connection with them while they are at here and at Sunshine. Um, and then also, you're not alone. Many families face the same path, and there are support networks that are available that is going to also share at the end. But they're available and they exist to help you and your family process and heal throughout this journey, as well as the support of your Sunshine team here. So it's really important that throughout this, reframing the experience, especially in times of, high pressure periods like the holidays, we be kind to ourselves and reframe that we're doing this for, the care of our child, and that we just reframe that our roles as the family and as the parent is just, it's different, but it's still important, and we're still here for our child, and we still are very much involved. So we can I think yeah, thank you. Um, so with reframing that experience, um, and entering the holiday season, it's also still really important that we talk about, the care of ourselves and our child in a care facility, but we also talk about the care of our family unit as a whole. Um, and that starts with initiating conversations, and the best place to start is doing that in our household as a family. So it can be helpful to have conversations with your spouse, partner, kids, anyone in your household about the different holiday traditions that you have that others may celebrate. This is an opportunity to open a discussion about how celebrations look different for all families and how traditions are different for everyone, and that not all traditions need to remain the same throughout time. That traditions can change, rituals can change, and that's okay. It's also important to acknowledge when or if a tradition or ritual is changing. And this can be due to family events or situations that have occurred recently or throughout the years. Having these conversations on the changes that are happening can help build a better understanding for everyone in the family and lead to better open conversations. And it's important to acknowledge when those happen. When we have those open conversations, especially with other children or with our spouses, it it opens up a healthy environment to acknowledge that, it's a hard time during the holiday season, and that's okay. And things are changing, but we're here to support each other still, and we can still have a happy holiday season with the changes happening. So when we have those conversations, it opens the space for family to discuss how it feels not having a sibling or a child home for the holidays, which can then open the door for building, stronger family support for within each other for outside those holiday seasons for long term for during higher pressure time periods because there's high pressure time periods outside of holiday seasons as well. And then it builds that connection and just that open space for everyone to just feel more comfortable talking about when, something's a little bit uncomfortable, and that's okay. So, initiating the conversation, though it can be uncomfortable at first and we may not want to, it can really open and start the first step in making it a little bit more, and it can open it up for everyone to acknowledge that it's okay that the traditions are changing, something is different, and it's okay to acknowledge that. And then it can open up the space for new ideas to come in and how can we, change our tradition so it can still be a happy holiday season. And with those conversations, it then helps us focus on what matters most, which then can lead into setting healthier expectations for ourselves within the holidays. So when we set healthy expectations, it also helps reduce the pressure on ourselves through the holiday seasons. And when having our open conversations with our family about what really is important about the holiday season and discussing, realistic limitations for not only yourself, but your family will allow you to be more present during the holidays and enjoy the time spent together rather than feeling the pressure and being distracted on if you are doing everything that you are, expected to do during that time. So setting expectations can be as simple as setting time limits on holiday parties, setting limits on traveling distances, the amount of people you may be hosting during the holidays, placing a budget on gift giving. It could be something as simple as saying no to cooking a really complicated dish or something small. It could be something small that goes a really long way in reducing the stress that's on yourself. So thinking about setting those realistic expectations for yourself goes a really long way in reducing the stress within the holiday season, and communicating that to your family helps with that as well because then it's setting that expectation across the board with everyone, and then it kind of just reduces all the tension overall. So with that is then creating new rituals. We sometimes we have holidays are a we fall into holidays are kind of like creatures of habit. We have our traditions, we have our rituals that we've may have always done since we were children, and that we want to keep doing for our children moving forward. But it's important to acknowledge that it is okay for traditions and rituals to change over time. Creating new rituals or traditions can build a sense of individuality and can build a new concept of closeness with your family. And it's okay to acknowledge that traditions and rituals can change with having a child in a care facility. And sometimes we hold on to wanting to keep those traditions the same, and we have to look at sometimes changing them to release some of that pressure of the holiday season. And that is okay to do. And we may find that once we release that pressure, we will actually enjoy the holiday more with our families at home. And then we could come and enjoy it, with our child at Sunshine as well. And it can go a really long way with making those changes and adjustments. So some of those changes in traditions and rituals, that can look like, lighting a candle for your child at home on the day of the holiday. It can be writing a letter with your family and then coming and reading it to your child the next day, or making a video with your family and coming and showing it to your child the next day. It could be having a photo of them present. It can be participating in a community event as a family or for yourself, or even celebrating the holiday on a day that is not traditionally celebrated on that holiday, and coming and spending it at Sunshine with your child and still including them. It can be celebrating the holiday or doing a tradition however you and your family want it to be, because it's for you and your family. And that's the most important thing for when it comes to like the holiday season. You're doing it for you guys and you want it to be a family event. So you're doing it for you and you want it. You can make it for whatever you guys need and want in those moments. So some supportive strategies to help kind of get through the holiday season is first acknowledging our feelings, especially during the holidays. We fall into this idea that we have to have positive and happy emotions. Um, it's thought that, holiday seasons, happiness and joy, all of that. But it is okay to have emotions of, sadness, anger, regret, confusion, even. We're allowed to have all of those emotions during the holiday season, and it's really important to acknowledge those emotions. We don't want to always be pushing those emotions down, because then we kind of become, because then we become, we're pushing those on and then we can explode. And we don't want to do those things. So some strategies that we can use to help process those emotions can be journaling. We can write them out and journal for ourselves, get our thoughts on paper. We can seek support through outside therapy. We can go seek social support with friends, family. And if one other really supportive strategy that I do enjoy is if you're struggling to find time to journal or to, talk to someone, I would, you know, use voice memos. Talk into a voice memo on your phone when you're driving home from work or when you're going around the house cleaning. Get those thoughts and emotions out. Get them out in some way. And it's really important to just have an outlet. And as always, you can always talk to your Sunshine social worker, right? We here at Sunshine, we're always here as a support, the best possible way we can be. And you can always ask us for any resources for support systems, and we'll do our best to help you guide and find supports for you as well. Another way for supportive strategies are self-care. It's important during the holiday season to remember to take care of ourselves. During the holidays, it's often thought of a time that is viewed as to be selfless, right? We do things for others, we give back to others, we and everything. But it is okay to take time to take care of ourselves and be a little selfish. Okay? We have to take time to take care of our own mind, our body, our personal needs, especially when this time comes with an additional pressure of outside of our everyday routines. So we can find fun and enjoyable activities and relaxing activities for ourselves, for your family at any time of the year. So it's really important that we remember we can do that during the holiday season as well. Okay. And so that can be, you know, going to a workout class, doing a mindfulness exercise, going that reading a book, making sure you're watching your favorite TV show when it's on at night, watching a movie, taking 10 minutes by yourself when you get home from work to just decompress and then go spend time with your family, or taking time to do an activity with your family on the weekend. Just find time to do something for yourself as well during the holiday season. We sometimes fall into this idea that I'd have so much to do just because it's the holidays. We still got to take care of ourselves during it. Okay. And remember, by keeping our minds and bodies healthy, we are always primed to deal with stressful situations when they arise during the holiday season, but also year round. Okay. And then we have to remember to keep things into perspective when we're thinking about strategies to get us through the holiday season. Keep things in perspective. Remember, the holidays are very brief, that the pressure of the holidays and managing ourselves and our family and having a child in an out-of-home placement can bring a lot of stress. So make sure you're taking care of yourself, and there's always time to regroup after the holiday season. And there's always time to take care of stuff also after the holiday season, and there's always time to just take a minute and take some time for an extended time for yourself when it's over. So just some closing reflections, a little wrap up. So just remember, um, the holiday season is a journey of strength, resilience, and kindness to yourself. Connection, compassion, and clarity can help guide families throughout it. You're not alone. Support is always within reach. New perspectives and traditions can help build a joy-filled holiday. And lastly, remember, holiday seasons come and go, but the support and strength that you have continue to stay with you no matter what time of year it is, and that strength does not disappear.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lauren. So as Lauren mentioned, we're always looking for really reliable, helpful resources for our families, especially families raising children and youth with medical complexity and disabilities. So there are a few networks that we as professionals plug into to get support for ourselves, to give us education training, to network and collaborate with like-minded professionals who are, doing this type of work, and who also provide those levels of support for families direct. One is the Courageous Parents Network. They're not for profit. They provide educational resources for families in a variety of formats, video, audio stories. They have downloadable guides that are fabulous. They have blogs. They do host some events. But their singular goal is to give parents confidence that they are being the best advocate you can be for your child. So through this work in partnership with clinicians, they seek to transform the care experience, both delivered and received. So, that's their email, that's their website. I would encourage all parents just to go in and, play around in their site. They have like just loads of information, but you can have live connections as well. Parent to Parent USA has been around for a long time in New York. It is a national network. The New York network, I've had speakers come to other family events in the past. They also do support network. They used to have a medical fragile subgroup for parents, but they will connect a parent to another parent who've had a similar experience, to share experience, strength, and hope, and to be an additional resource. So they're really good to reach out to as well and get connected. And Family Voices have also been around for a long time. They provide information and support for families, and they will assist you with navigating systems and assessing services. So, three really good resources for you to think about and maybe even explore a little bit. Our schedule upcoming December 18th, which is only in a few short days, is the Good Parent. What does that mean? I'm hoping we have good attendance to this because I think this has potential to be a really useful dialogue and conversation with and between parents, because I think it's sort of the architecture of how you see the world, how you react to the world, and how you advocate for your child. So that's my little plug on that. In January, we're going to talk a little bit from hospital to home, guide to medical and nursing care. February, we want to talk a little bit about balancing hope and reality. In March, we want to talk, really kind of get into your child's education. We're coming up on CSC IEP season, where we'll be, scheduled. The school district's going to be scheduling your child's annual education meeting, and we thought we would have a little precursor, a little review on your role as your child's education advocate. And then we wanted to end in April with refilling your cup, the power of self-care in caregiving. We're going to use this Zoom video platform for all of our discussions. As I said, each presentation will have a pair of co-leaders, two social workers. So we're going to mix and match ourselves. So you'll see a lot of us. All right. So thank you. We're hoping that you've heard this, that this resonates with you in some respect, that you find some joy in your joy season, that you hear Lauren's words carefully. The season is short, life is longer, right? So the strengths that you have, the resiliency you have, your need to say not now, maybe tomorrow, all of that is good. It will carry you through the holidays into January and to what's next, right? So we wish you all joy and peace in whatever shape and form makes sense to you. Thank you.